And welcome to an episode of No Butts About It. I'm your host, Josh Butts. I am still in a dorm room in Steubenville, Ohio. I think I just accidentally blew Chus's ears out. It's a nice day. It's a nice day here in Steubenville, Ohio. And Chus is, I know, right? It's surprising, but it's like surprisingly nice. The fumes from the chemical spill have kind of disappeared. We're not going to die, I don't think.
No.
Maybe. I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
still
know.
waiting for...
We don't really know much about these chemicals. They just kind of told us that they were chemicals, and it's like, oh, that's fun, but I don't live in Ohio, so I don't really care.
I
care. I don't.
They
I
said
care, but like not on my end. I don't want you to.
Toxic.
I don't want
toxic.
I don't want anybody to think I don't care about what's going on. In
toxic.
We
do care.
I genuinely do care, but like on my end, like I'm not worried about inhaling toxic chemicals because I'm not in Ohio, unless it's.
We'll see. Here's the thing, buddy.
Buddy.
Yeah, they said that because of the way the winds blow, they blow east to west or west to east, or whatever. Which basically they blow in a way that big cloud of exploded chemicals is all going to Pittsburgh.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
so I should be a little concerned then. Okay.
Yes, you should. So
I was already expecting to die sometime in my 50s or 60s, so it's okay.
I'm waiting for the. I think so. I'm waiting for the commercial 20 years from now that is like, if you were in Ohio on this day during this time and you drank the water there, you may be entitled to compensation.
Yeah, and then we can tell our kids about, oh yeah, we lived through that. I went to college then.
You may notice, you who is viewing at home, Chus is in his basement in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he has a mullet now. He is trying to turn into Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, sure.
He does not have the singing voice of Morgan Wallen, but he does have the mullet.
Yeah, that's true. I do not have the musical talent that Morgan Wallen does, or any country artist for that matter. I can't play guitar, but...
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to decide whether the mullet stays or goes. Mama Butts, who I texted a photo of you, has already responded, and she said, "Oh, geez," to the mullet. I'm guessing I think that's a negative. I think we should let people comment in the video about whether or not your mullet stays or goes.
Okay, sure. I mean, it was somebody recommended it to me, and I kind of went with it because we're seeing a bunch of country concerts this summer. I think Murray is very glad that we're recording right now because he's very loud right now. I have a bird for anybody that is new to the show, and he records with us. And in the afternoons when we record, usually we have been recording at night, but since this is like an early afternoon show, he tends to be a little louder. But going back to the haircut, yeah, if you guys want to comment and let me know. I mean, I guess I can't necessarily sway one way or another, and I can't say it for sure, but I have had a lot of positive reviews on my side, so it'll be interesting to see what they think. So.
Yeah, so does the mullet stay or does it go? Let the viewers decide.
I don't think it's that bad.
Well, let's just get into it. There's been a lot of news, a lot of quarterback situations, rumors going on. Mr. Aaron Rodgers has come out of his darkness retreat, and he said it's going to take a few more days. So he spent his time in the shadows. I think Yes Theory also did a video at like the same house where it was, according to Sports Illustrated. They did a darkness retreat there too, and Aaron Rodgers. They have
darkness retreat, so
yeah, Aaron Rodgers came out and he was like, "It's going to take a few more days." So originally we reported like that the Packers were disgusted with Aaron Rodgers. They hate Aaron Rodgers. They want him out of there. Jeff Darlington and Tom Pelissero are both reporting that that's not true. So now we're getting conflicting reports, and both Jeff Darlington and Tom Pelissero are very trustworthy reporters. Looking at the Packers cap space, and this is with Aaron Rodgers' contract, they are negative almost $10 million they're $10 million over the cap, essentially. So losing Aaron Rodgers would help them. However, a team that really, or at least their fan base really wants him, is the New York Jets or the New Jersey Jets, because they play in New Jersey. I don't know if you knew that.
The Giants Jets play in New Jersey too.
Yeah, they both play in New Jersey. Neither one plays in New York.
It's close enough. I mean, the Washington Commanders play in Landover, Maryland, and that's not Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I know. They should be the Landover, Maryland Commanders. But the Jets are $264,000 over the cap. So not a whole lot, but they've got to do some gymnastics. They've got to figure out how they are going to get Aaron Rodgers or even Derek Carr. Who are they going to cut? Who are they going to trade? Who are they just going to have someone restructure their contract? Maybe. Another team that has a ton of cap space, and we'll talk about them a bit more later on, is the Falcons. The Falcons have $55 million in cap. The Raiders also have $48 million in cap, and neither of them really have a franchise quarterback. The Falcons have Desmond Ridder, who I'm a fan of, but, he's going into his second year. It's like, whatever, if he hasn't really proven himself, and it's Aaron Rodgers. The Raiders, it seems, are running with Jarrett Stidham. They cut Derek Carr. So he's another quarterback who's kind of out there. Like, where will he go? Will he go to the Jets? This is really going to rest on Aaron Rodgers and what he decides to do. Does Aaron Rodgers decide that he wants to stay with the Packers, or Aaron Rodgers could just retire? What do you think, Mullet Man? What do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to do? Where do you think he'll end up?
I feel like Aaron Rodgers kind of reminds me of like a type of like Tom Brady in a way. Not like obviously on the same level, but I feel like, he spent all of his career in Green Bay, and I think that he is trying to figure out if he wants to retire or if he wants to keep playing, but I don't think it'll be with Green Bay. I think that if anything, I think for the best of Green Bay, I think they should run with maybe a different quarterback because, Aaron Rodgers is getting old and you kind of want to prepare for the future a little bit because now that, like, for example, in Tampa Bay now, like, they don't have Tom Brady. So therefore, like, who are they going to really have as quarterback? I mean, I don't really know if they have like a solid backup or if it was just like some like 30-year-old dude. I don't really know. Anytime I hear Tampa Bay, I think of Tom Brady. So I
think Kyle Trask is the only rostered quarterback right now on that team.
Yes. So like Tampa really just kind of like tried like very hard to win like at least one Super Bowl, and they did, and that's great. But the problem is like I think Aaron Rodgers had his chance in Green Bay. They had come so close so many times. I think they lost 4 NFC championships in a row. And then Aaron Rodgers, he won a Super Bowl back in 2011, 2012 against the Steelers. So, I mean, he hasn't had like the worst career in Green Bay, but he's definitely fallen just a tad short in Green Bay. So I think he might want to change his route just a little bit on where he would go. And like with Tom Brady, it was like they had just lost that one playoff game, and then he had decided that, like, you know what, maybe it's time to, hang things up and in New England and go to Tampa Bay. So I'm thinking that he's going to end up in a new team. I can't say where because obviously like Vegas would be interesting because you reconnect with Devontae Adams, or he could go to Atlanta. And the one thing that I wouldn't be opposed with Atlanta is since Aaron Rodgers will be there, maybe it'll give Desmond Ridder an extra year to like really prepare himself before he enters in as a starter. Cause like Aaron Rodgers is what, 39, 40. He's definitely up there in age. He's got to be somewhere in like his late 30s. So like if he only plays for maybe a year, 2 more years at most, Desmond Ridder is going to be that much more experienced. And because it's kind of hard. Like, I mean, like I can't say for sure because like, you have those rookie quarterbacks that come out year one that like do really well or like show improvement every single game. And you don't want to like not have them play, but Patrick Mahomes didn't play his first year, and I like to say that a lot. And then he came in his second year, and he balled out. So I mean, there is always that chance of growth for players and for teams. So I think that I think it could be a beneficial thing if they don't think Desmond Ridder is ready. If Aaron Rodgers went to Atlanta, but I mean, it's also a situation where it's like, will a team be willing to in the team's best interest, would it be the best interest for the team to pick up a quarterback that's in his late 30s that has won one Super Bowl, has had many NFC championship appearances, many playoff appearances, does really well in the playoffs, has fallen short many years? Is it coaching? Is it coordinating? Is it him? Is it something else? I don't know, but are they willing to take that chance? Because, like, obviously Tampa Bay took that chance with Tom Brady, but also Tom Brady has won. Now he has won 7 Super Bowls, but before he had won 6 in New England. So, like, you kind of assumed that no matter where Tom Brady ranked, he was going to be a force to be reckoned with come playoff time. So, Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, he just always kind of felt short. So, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see where it goes.
It definitely is an interesting conversation because, the Packers need money. They're $10 million over the cap, as we said. Then looking at the teams that actually have the cap space to potentially take on his contract, it's the Bears at $98 million, Falcons $55 million, Raiders $48 million, Giants $46 million, Texans $37 million, Bengals $35 million. That's this year, what they're at right now. He's not going to go to the Bears. That's not going to happen. Bears have Justin Fields. He's young. He's improving. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not even sure Aaron Rodgers would make it to the field if he went to Chicago. Falcons, I feel like, are kind of an underrated team. They remember Calvin Ridley's coming back. He's applying for being reinstated in the NFL. I assume he will. It was just a gambling charge, so it's not like he shot someone or anything.
Yeah, that was a whole weird thing. I totally forgot that happened, but he was a stud during his time.
You got Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, Drake London's shown some promise. I mean, you have a pretty promising team. The running back, Algier, I forget his name. I'm pretty sure Tyler Algier is on the Falcons as well. 2021 rookie.
Yeah.
Maybe 2022 rookie.
It's Alliger, Algier.
Yeah.
I think
he was a rookie last season. And
because he was behind that like old guy or older guy. I shouldn't say old.
Older guy.
I can't think of his name right now, but I have him in Madden. I don't remember his name off by heart, but Cordell Patterson.
Oh yeah, Cordell Patterson. Super. That's talent right there, dude. I mean, dude plays
older.
Everything.
Yeah, he's older, but like he is very talented.
Yeah. The Falcons are super like people are going to look at him and be like, okay, yeah, they don't have any potential here. Why would Aaron go there? They've got a lot of talent surrounding them. And if Aaron is willing to come in and play for like another 3 years, maybe that something might happen there because the NFC South sucks.
Yeah, that division, and with Tampa Bay, with Tom Brady leaving, you best believe that freaking Tampa Bay is not going to do anything.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is not going to do anything. Most of their roster is on free agency. Tampa Bay is at the bottom of this list. They're $56 million over the cap.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous, and you know that they're not going to be able to re-sign half of those players because
they can't bring everyone back. It's not going to happen.
So, and I think the legacy of Tampa Bay over the last couple of years has sincerely concluded. And I mean, it was a good run. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it was a good run for them. They got one Super Bowl. So, I mean, that's always fun. But I think the point is like with Tampa Bay, they were trying to ring chase just like LA did, and LA did it successfully. Tampa Bay did it successfully, but they're not looking towards the future necessarily. Like, I feel like with LA, like Matt Stafford got hurt. I mean, the Rams just got, they just finished their season. They were 4-10, they were 4. Well, not 4-10. It was definitely like 4 and something. It was definitely a lot worse than how they were last year. So, and then same thing with like Tampa Bay, like they did good. It was like 12-4 and they were doing well. And then this year they were like 9-8, barely made it in. I don't even remember what their record was. It was awful. They made it in and they did nothing, more or less. Like it was just. And
so the other team that I think is kind of a sleeper, people will look at them and be like, they suck. They played horrible. They were supposed to be this super team and they failed this year. And Derek Carr is getting the blame for it, but I don't really think it was Derek Carr. The Las Vegas Raiders, who have $48 million in cap space. And like you alluded to, Devontae Adams is there. Not only is Devontae Adams there, something that's very important that people forget to mention, Nevada doesn't have an income tax.
No, they don't.
So if I pay Aaron Rodgers, I can pay Aaron Rodgers a little less than what he was making in Wisconsin. And after that, it will be more because he'll be getting more money in his own pocket because the Wisconsin taxes are higher.
Yeah.
So I think that's important too, because I believe, if I remember correctly, Davante Adams turned down a contract that was the exact same as the one he signed in Las Vegas because of that, because he knew he would end up making more.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly like what the terms of the deal was, but I'm pretty sure Green Bay fans were really upset with that because they were like, we offered you the same thing, but you went to a different team. And it's one of those things where it's like logistically, like it is making more money, even if you're making the same amount, because they don't have income tax and they don't have a lot of like the same weird taxes that like other states do, especially like Wisconsin and stuff. But it wasn't a situation where it was like Le'Veon Bell, for example. He left the Steelers. He wanted like, I don't even remember what he wanted. He wanted something ridiculous. Let's say he wanted like a 2-year, $100 million deal. I don't think that's what it was. It was something wild. He wanted to be the highest paid running back. And he took the year off because we franchise tagged him. And then we offered him like something close to it. It was like 2-year, $85 million. And this is just all hypothetical. This isn't the real thing because I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was like 2-year, $85 million, and he declined it. Then he went to the Jets and signed like a 2-year, $55 million deal. And it was like, what? I was like, the taxes are definitely higher over there than in Pennsylvania. I mean, that's like New York, New Jersey, because that's where you're going to be living. And even if you live like in something like Connecticut or something like that, and you travel in, like still that's so expensive. Like that area up there New England is so expensive to live in. So like, I don't know. I feel like that was just, it's like, it's not like a situation like that. Like he's definitely making a lot more money in Nevada. So
yeah, the Raiders were a playoff team 2 years ago. The Bengals beat them in the wild card, but they have potential. Darren Waller is a dude. Hunter Renfrow can be a dude. You've got Davante Adams, obviously. Josh Jacobs showed up this year. You've got potential. You have huge potential. I'm assuming they're bringing Big Max Crosby back. I think Raiders could also be another sleeper team that Aaron Rodgers goes to if he doesn't return to the Packers or goes to retirement.
And you know, the thing with me is, I was just thinking about this. If Henry Ruggs wouldn't have gotten in that dang car accident and like killed those people because he's stupid, now in jail.
Well, yeah, let's clarify. He didn't get in a car accident. He caused a car accident.
Yeah, and then he sat on the curb and was like, my car, even though a family was like dying. Like it was awful story. But if he wouldn't have done that, he would have been a stud too. Like I guarantee he would have been a stud because he was coming out of, I believe, like Alabama or something. He was going to be good. So it was crazy.
I think, this is why I don't like that Derek Carr gets all this hate. He got that team to the playoffs during that with the whole Henry Ruggs situation. But on top of that, John Gruden's emails. Yeah. And John Gruden got fired for his misogynistic and homophobic emails and stuff that were sent out. So that's obviously like a huge locker room issue. Then you've got Henry Ruggs. And then your interim head coach is a special teams coach. So it's like, how did the Raiders get to the playoffs in that situation, but somehow they weren't able to get to the playoffs in a situation that included Josh McDaniels, who is phenomenal offensive coordinator, supposedly, if it wasn't all just Brady and Belichick. And there's no like political issue going on surrounding the team. I don't get how that's all Derek Carr's fault, but
I don't know. I think it might have to do with the play calling. I don't necessarily know if it's Derek Carr because I really don't think he's that bad of a player. I mean, I feel like it's a very similar situation. Honestly, I hope for him that it ends up being a Matt Stafford situation. He ends up going to a different team and doing really well. Like, or even like a Kirk Cousins situation where like he was in Washington and he just did okay. And then he moved to Minnesota, and granted, they haven't done like anything in the playoffs, but they have good seasons. Like they just got off of a 12-5 12-4 season. Well, it can't be 12-4, but like 12-5 or 13-4 or something like that. It was good. Like,
yeah,
it was good. I mean, it was definitely like, very good. And granted, they lost in the wild card to Dallas, but Dallas was a very dominant, defensive team. I mean, that division was arguably very good, I would say, this year. I mean, yes, I know the Eagles lost to the Chiefs. The Cowboys also had their run, and they almost the Cowboys came close to beating San Fran in the divisional. So, I mean, like,
but still lost.
Yes,
on that Ezekiel Elliott play.
But it shows promise, and the reason I bring that up is because, like, these teams with quarterbacks that, like, have been with bad teams and they hate on them and stuff like that, they end up going to different teams, they end up playing well. And I hope that for Derek Carr, because he always has so much talent, so much potential, and like with so much up and down in Vegas, I would love for him to go to a team that has potential. And then all they need is just a tweak, which would have been a quarterback. Just like in LA, all they needed was a tweak. They had Jared Goff, who they thought was like, okay, they got them to a Super Bowl, but couldn't clutch up. It was a 13-3 final. Like, come on, man. Like, that sucks. Like, that you could have easily done something with that. I know New England had a good defense, but like LA did too. And I was like, you could have clutched up at any point. So I was like, I think Murray's disagreeing with me on that, because he's getting really fired up over here. But yeah, I hope for Derek Carr's sake that he goes to a good team that very much will appreciate him, and maybe even he can lead them to a Super Bowl, depending on what kind of team he goes to.
New York promised if he comes to the Jets that he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and that's all I'm going to say. I don't know about that. I'm just saying they said that. Let's move on. Let's move on to Bobby Wagner, who was released from the Rams because he apparently, this was mutual, he wants to go somewhere where he can win a championship again, and he doesn't think that's going to happen with the Rams. And he's probably right, to be honest, because their cap space is bad. They are also over the cap, $14 million. This is what happens when all you do is like load up your team. Eventually that has to come crumbling down. There's gymnastics that you can do to get around this. That's why a lot of people say the cap isn't real. The fact is, right now they're $14 million over. They've released Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner wants to go to a team where he is going to get a ring. I have no idea where that is, but look for Bobby. Be on the lookout for Bobby Wagner, because Bobby Wagner he wants a ring and he wants to get paid, and that's not going to happen in LA unless he goes to the Chargers. But the Chargers are also over the cap, so I don't think he's coming to the Bengals. I actually don't want him to come to the Bengals, because then we can't bring back guys that I would want to bring back. I have no idea where he's going. That's all I have to say.
Where the I don't know this off by heart. Where are the Steelers at right now in cap?
You guys have $11,000.
Okay. It sounds about right.
In effective cap space, and I don't know what that means. You guys are $4 million over the cap, but you have $11,000 to work with, apparently.
Okay. Oh, cool. So I mean, granted, we're gonna probably end up letting some people go, but I was just wondering, because I know that we might need linebacker help a little bit. So Bobby Wagner for the Steelers would be interesting, but I don't know if we could necessarily afford him.
If we have to let Jermaine Pratt go, and TJ Watt comes on over.
That's not TJ Watt's not coming over.
That would be okay. That would be okay.
I don't think TJ Watt. I love that
sacrifice.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I really want Jamar Chase. Like, if you guys could cut Jamar Chase so he can come to the Steelers, that'd be great. Like, what kind of, or kid Joe Mixon with Najee? It's gonna be you
can have Joe Mixon. I'm actually pro, because Joe Mixon, I believe, has the largest contract of anyone on the team right now. So you guys can have Joe Mixon.
I'm just saying. My point had nothing to do with who I wanted from your team. It just had a point of being like so unrealistic that like it's not going to happen. Just like I'm still waiting for coming up Joe Burrow to take his pay cut.
He is. He's going to take one.
Joe Burrow is going to take his pay cut so that Jamar Chase. Okay.
I believe.
I thought if Joe Burrow was a little older, he would be willing to do that. But homie is in his prime and literally could get that kind of money anywhere. So
I'm gonna manifest it. Manifest, baby. Okay, let's go to the other AFC North quarterback, and that is Lamar Jackson. Dude has been in the news for so long. Like, I got to pull up this ESPN article here. I want to make sure I get it word for word. This is per Jeremy Fowler. Lamar Jackson wants a fully guaranteed deal similar to the 5-year, $230 million deal the Browns gave to Deshaun Watson. According to sources, Lamar turned down a 5-year, $250 million contract with $133 million guaranteed. So that would have been, let me make sure my math is right before I say something stupid. 250 divided by 5, that's $50 million a year. He would have been getting paid $50 million. And he turned that down because only 133 was guaranteed. He wants a fully guaranteed deal. Deshaun's was 230 divided by 5. That's $46 million a year, fully guaranteed. Why? I get Lamar is great. I get he's good. He's fantastic, phenomenal, man. Dude has taken them nowhere near the Super Bowl, though.
No, I mean, they have maybe one playoff win?
They have one playoff win with him. Yeah.
Exactly.
I get why people like him. I do. I really do. And he's fun to watch. I get why people like him. He's fun to watch. He's a great athlete. I don't get, hang on. I don't get, I've seen people saying that he should get paid more than Burrow and Hurts. And I don't get that, because even if you want to say Hurts was like a one-hit wonder, Hurts he's already taken him to the Super Bowl. On his rookie contract, he took the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Burrow took him to the Super Bowl. Why are you paying them, or why are you paying Lamar more than them? I don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me. They aren't going to be able to put weapons around him if they do that. What do you have to say, Chus?
Okay, so I kind of wanted to elaborate again because I didn't want to interrupt you, but it kind of going back to the one playoff win. You know, in theory, wouldn't that mean that Brock Purdy has more playoff wins than Lamar Jackson does in four seasons? Isn't that crazy? It doesn't
mean it in theory. It means it legitimately.
It
is
literally
a fact.
It is Brock Purdy's rookie season, and he has 2 playoff wins. Granted, he went 2-1, but Lamar Jackson has to be 1-2, 1-3 maybe. Which is crazy to me. Granted, I know that he didn't play this season in the playoffs, right? He was hurt still when he played you guys in the Fumble in the Jungle.
He's 1-3. He's 1-3 in the playoffs.
Okay. But I don't think he's worth that much money, to be completely honest. I think he's a running quarterback that eventually is going to get old, tear his ACL because somebody's going to, check him in the leg, and he's never going to be able to run again or plant right. And then second of all, I mean, like I said, he's an okay quarterback. I mean, he's not a playoff quarterback by any means, at least in Baltimore. Maybe it'll change if he goes somewhere else. But with Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts, I don't think he should get paid that much because Joe Burrow did go to a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts did go to a Super Bowl. They both lost, but Joe Burrow was in an AFC championship this year. It was a tight game. I mean, you can't argue that. I mean, Joe Burrow and the Bengals have had a lot of success over the last couple of years with him under QB1. But Jalen Hurts in his rookie season, they went 9-8 and then went to the playoffs, and then I think they lost to Tampa. I think it was who they lost to. It was a bad game, but they still made it. And not that Baltimore hasn't, but Baltimore has been higher seeds than like Philadelphia last year went in as a 7th seed, and then Baltimore was in at a 5 seed. I'm gonna guess because they didn't win the division, but they were higher up, and then they lost. I was like, what the? Okay, whatever. It's just so weird what's going on in Baltimore, and dude's so injury prone. I feel like he's hurt every single year. I never draft him in fantasy. I refuse to draft him in fantasy. I have a list of players that I will never draft in fantasy. Obviously, some come and go because obviously for a while it was never Antonio Brown, never Le'Veon Bell. There was a couple other of these random players. And now Lamar Jackson's on my list because I freaking can't stand the dude because he's just always hurt. When he plays, he's good. But when he's not playing, he's not doing anything for the team.
So Lamar, in the 4 playoff games that Lamar has made, he has acquired 900 passing yards, 3 touchdowns across his 4 playoff games. Whenever I bring this up, everyone goes, but he was unanimous MVP in 2019. I don't care. That was in 2019. Michael Thomas was also the top receiver in the NFL at the time, and now he's not. Also, Lamar is wanting his contract fully guaranteed. Josh Allen signed a 6-year, $258 million contract with the Buffalo Bills with $150 million guaranteed. And then I looked up Patrick Mahomes' contract, and he has $110 million of his contract fully guaranteed. But it's a 480 or essentially $500 million when you put in all the bonuses. $500 million contract over 10 years. And Lamar, that's 40 without the bonuses, it's $45 million a year. So Lamar wants to be paid more than Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen.
Yeah, theoretically speaking, and on top of that, like, didn't you say he wanted fully guaranteed? So
he wants fully guaranteed. Yes.
So if it's a $250 million deal, he's guaranteed $250 million.
Correct.
Right.
He could tear his ACL and never play again, and they would still have to pay him.
That's terrible. Nobody's going to want to do that because Patrick Mahomes arguably is one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, and he's getting paid $113 million guaranteed, and that's only like a fifth of what his contract is for the entire 10-year deal or 8-year deal. It was a monster contract, but even with Josh Allen, same gist. I mean, like, those two quarterbacks, like, I feel like Josh Allen, like, has struggled in bits. I mean, they can't get past the divisional. I don't know why they just get stuck in the divisional round forever. Right. I feel like they're in an endless time loop, but Josh Allen is a very talented quarterback. And then, like, you have Patrick Mahomes, who's also a very, very talented quarterback. I mean, he's won 2 Super Bowls in, like, 4 years or something like that, 3 championship appearances, and he's just been doing really good. Like, he is going to be the next Tom Brady in a sense. In a sense. I'm not going to say he is the next Tom Brady because nobody will beat Tom Brady. But I think in a sense, Joe Burrow has to catch up a little bit. I mean, he has a lot of potential to do that. I'm not saying that he won't.
21 years.
But I think he'll be more of like I think Joe Burrow could be more of like a 3 Super Bowl winner, you know, like maybe going to, you know, like 3 rings, you know, over the course of like 10, 15 years, which you guys should be happy about that. I mean, you know, the Steelers took 2 over 3 over the last 15 or 18 years with Ben. So, I mean, it happens. So
let's go back to Lamar though.
But Lamar, oh my gosh, like, that is just terrible that he even's willing to do that. And my thing is like, my thing is like, why can't these players just be happy with what they get? Like, I'm going to be happy making like $70,000 a year, and these homies are complaining about not getting $250 million. What are you even going to do with that? I guarantee they're going to spend it on sports cars. They're not like Gronkowski, who's actually investing his money wisely. Homies are going to be buying sports cars, mansions in Bel Air. Like, it's just BS. Like, if I had that money, I don't know what I would do with it, but I would just, if somebody told me, oh yeah, you're guaranteed $6 million, I'd be like, hell freaking yeah, I'm going to take $6 million. like that's easy for me. I don't care. Like, I mean, and then if my worth is like high enough, if somebody's like, yeah, we'll offer you like 80 million guaranteed, I'd be like, you don't need to do that, but sure, I'll take it. Like, I just don't understand, like, players thinking that they're just like if you don't want to play for a team, I get it. But instead of making it a money situation, like, because sometimes I wonder if he even wants to go back to Baltimore and he's just making it really stingy on them. Because, like, I guarantee that homie is going to leave Baltimore because they're not going to want to re-sign him. They're not going to find a deal. And then he's going to take a pay cut somewhere else. And it's going to be a very similar situation to Le'Veon Bell, as I mentioned earlier in this episode. And it's just going to be stupid. It's all going to be for nothing. And Lamar's going to be in the news, and everyone's just going to be like, oh, he probably just wanted to leave Baltimore, and he was just making up some excuse on why he couldn't stay. And it just frustrates me. Like, stupid freaking Lamar.
Lamar's never going to come on this show if he hears that. Here's the thing.
Sorry, Lamar.
Lamar, again, very talented, and I get why the guys want their money, because their body is essentially their income. It is their income for a lot of them. At the same time, even in the context of the NFL, this is insane. This is an insane contract request, because when the Browns gave that to Deshaun Watson, everyone said the Browns were idiots.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bad, like, and he hasn't even done a whole lot. I mean, he was suspended for most of the season in Cleveland, and I mean, like, they didn't finish horribly, but they didn't have a winning record. And I don't really even know how the Browns are going to do next year. I mean, there's a lot of changes probably going on in the Browns organization right now. I don't expect them to be any big threat this coming season. I mean, I know for a fact Baltimore ain't going to be no threat because I don't think they're going to have Lamar Jackson this year.
They can't afford weapons.
Yeah, they can't. Like, that's literally the thing. Like, they can't afford weapons. They can't do anything. And, like, I feel like Baltimore's just going to struggle again. And it'll be sad. But, I mean, as times change, it's kind of interesting to see who is at the bottom of the AFC North with the Browns every single year. So, except for that one fluke year where the Browns actually did well and they were close to the top of the division.
The Ravens have $24 million in cap for this year.
Mm-hmm.
They would have to, like, give all of that to Lamar. And Mark Andrews was like, oh, yeah, just take some out of my contract and then we'll give that to Lamar. Mark, that ain't going to help too much with the boy over here wanting a bigger contract than Patrick Mahomes. It's just, I don't. Lamar, I get it. I want to sympathize with you to some extent. I get that you want your bag. Get your bag. I'm happy when these guys do get their bag because they've been working their whole life for this. This is something they've been working their whole life for. But as you kind of said in your whole rant, why do you need that much money? Like, what are you going to do with it, you know?
Especially the guaranteed part. Like,
yeah,
just be happy. Like, just play to the best of your ability and just get that bag by the time you're done with the contract. Like, the whole point of the contract is, like, you know, when you're signing a contract, like, you're signed for an amount of time and you're going to get that much money. Just don't get hurt. Don't do anything stupid. I mean, you can't prevent injuries, but sometimes you can. Because, like, for example, like Lamar Jackson tearing his ACL, if he tears it because he's running all over the field, rushing for 150 yards, and somebody just, like, checks him in, like, the lower knee, and he tears his ACL, like, that's his fault. Like, just don't do anything stupid unless you have to. Like, I mean, like, Patrick Mahomes, like, he runs when he has to. I mean, he has weapons around him, but, like, I feel like Baltimore almost reminds me of, like, a Chicago right now where, like, they're struggling with weapons and just nothing to go off of. I mean, like, I think Lamar, like I said, is very talented, but I just don't think he should be so upset about a $250 million deal that wouldn't get him guaranteed full money or however much the contract was for how much guaranteed. Like, I just don't understand. I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
He's the other thing is, like, where I think he'd end up at the Falcons, honestly. He doesn't have an agent.
Yeah.
Lamar doesn't have an agent, so I don't think Lamar realized. Maybe he's not a stupid guy, but I'm not sure he realizes quite how ridiculous this sounds like to a person who's not in the NFL kind of bubble.
Do you think that, like, he reads the news at all, like, about his declining of contracts and stuff? And because, like, there's a lot of people disagreeing with this completely. Like, other than Baltimore fans, like, I'm not a Baltimore fan. You're definitely not a Baltimore fan. None of us are like, oh yeah, I agree with Lamar. Most people are like, I don't know, buddy. Like,
I mean, he probably does read the news, but he probably is, like, going like a don't pay attention to the haters type outlook type thing. And I'm sure Ravens fans are like, yeah, give him whatever he wants. Give him my house if you want. It's like, I just don't think
Ravens fans should be that invested if this guy's being, like, for us, like, we were just like I said, I love going back to Le'Veon Bell because it just reminds me so much of that. Because I feel like what's going to end up happening is Lamar's just going to get franchise tagged and he's going to be like,
he won't play on the franchise tag.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not playing. And then he'll sit out a year, then he'll come back and be awful, like, for another team.
What'll probably end up happening, if I had to guess, is he'll get franchise tagged. He'll refuse to play on the franchise tag. Get traded to probably Atlanta.
Or just a team. A
team. I'm guessing Atlanta, though, because it's outside. They're outside of the AFC, and they have the cap space. For, I think, 2 first-round picks would be what he'd have to go for. And then Lamar would end up signing, like, a whatever contract because he has to at that point. I guess he doesn't have to, but it would look really stupid if he didn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely a situation we're going to pay attention to because we're both AFC North fans.
Yeah,
and having Lamar out of the division would help a lot.
Yeah, especially with because then at that point, the Steelers show a lot of promise, and the Bengals already have promise. So if it could really be our two teams at number 1 and 2 this coming season, if Cleveland doesn't step up and Baltimore loses Lamar and has nobody else to sign, so it really could be. I mean, I'm not going to jump the gun here, but I mean, there's definitely potential because obviously I'm not expecting the Bengals to do bad. I'm expecting the Steelers to do a lot better than they did last year. I mean, 9-8's not bad, but I definitely think we could go 10-7 with the schedule we have this coming season. I think there's a chance we do better. So
I'm glad that I'm hearing that the Bengals and Joe Burrow are close to coming to a deal in contract talks.
That is really good.
The Ravens and Lamar are $100 million apart. So
I mean, just imagine being a Ravens fan right now. I would be in shambles. I would literally be in shambles. If your golden boy's about to leave, I would be in shambles. And I'm so glad I'm not a Baltimore Raven fan or living in Baltimore. I feel like that'd just be sad.
Yeah. One final thing on this episode of quarterbacks and cap space.
And Bobby Wagner.
And one linebacker that we threw in there. Russell Wilson. He's been in the news a lot the last 2 years. Man's kind of become a meme.
Kind of, yeah.
He inspired the "Let Somebody Cook" sticker that I have on the shop for our merch. That I'll put the description or the link in the description.
Yeah, if anybody's interested, you don't have to buy. It's just something we're just trying to do to plug. But
yeah, if you do buy though, I appreciate it greatly, and it helps support the show. We don't make a lot of. I don't even know if we make any profit off of it. But it helps with advertising. And if we do make profit, it will probably go to buying Chus a better camera. So,
yeah, I mean, I have a new computer, but
okay. Well, he doesn't use it.
The thing with it is the problem is this plug for the USB condenser doesn't plug into the MacBook Air.
We will buy an adapter.
So I will buy
the sticker for the adapter cost. Anyway, moving into the Russell Wilson talk. So last year it was where's Russ going? Why is Russ not happy? Is Russ not happy? Why is Pete Carroll saying it's not a rebuild in Seattle? Which he was actually right, surprisingly. The Seahawks played pretty well. Apparently Russell Wilson wanted Pete Carroll fired. He felt that Pete Carroll was holding him back, and so he wanted Pete Carroll fired, and he wanted them to bring in Sean Payton. Well, they didn't fire Pete Carroll. The Seahawks ended up, I think, either they made the playoffs or they just slightly missed them. They made them. Yeah, they
made them because
Geno Smith.
Yeah, because they played San Francisco and they did well at the beginning, and then they kind of fell apart at the end. Yeah,
that's right. Yep, Geno Smith led them to the playoffs, and Russ was in Denver. They fell apart. Nathan Hackett got fired mid-season. Yeah, I think Russ threw as many touchdowns as there were bathrooms in his house.
Yeah, I think
that was the big thing. Yeah, 12. Will Russ throw enough touchdowns to match bathrooms in his house? He ended up tying it at 12.
Cool.
So congrats, Russ, on that. But now he wanted Sean Payton. He's got Sean Payton now. The other thing is, I'm not sure Russ wants Sean Payton now. Because Sean Payton said, hey, Russ, why do you have an office up on the second floor? That is for coaches. That isn't for players. Why do you have, you're bringing your own people into the building, bringing in your own quarterback's coach. They're not allowed here anymore. He kicked them out. He said they are banned from this building. They're not Broncos faculty. They're out of here. He also he's discussing with Russ. He's like, why is this a thing? Players aren't supposed to be up on the second floor. Players are supposed to be on the first floor. And that caused some some locker room issues, allegedly. So what do you think about that? What do you think about a veteran like Russell Wilson, who has been to multiple Super Bowls, probably a Hall of Famer, best quarterback out of his draft class, 2012, because Andrew Luck retired early. So I'm going to say Russell Wilson.
We'll never really know about Andrew Luck.
We'll never know, but statistically speaking, accolades and everything, Russell Wilson is the best out of his draft class, probably a Hall of Famer eventually, if not a first balloter. Should he have his office up there with the coaches? Should he be able to make these calls? Do you think Sean Payton can fix the Broncos?
No, and no. I don't. I mean, I think Russell Wilson wanting Pete Carroll fired is very interesting. And obviously, it's kind of funny that Carroll kind of was like an in-your-face type thing, trading Russell Wilson to Denver, and then actually still making it to the playoffs when Denver, Russell Wilson goes to Denver and they don't do anything. So pretty interesting on that side of the field. I don't think Sean Payton will be able to fix them because I think it just needs a lot of adjustments and a lot of work. I think coordinators may need adjusted. I don't really know how their play calling is. I mean, they have a lot of decent promise on their team, but they don't have there's certain key pieces that they're missing from the puzzle for this team. I don't know if Sean Payton will be able to do it by himself. I think he'll need help, and I don't know if Russell Wilson's the answer. And I think right now Russell Wilson is just kind of walking all over the Broncos because he's Russell Wilson. And I think Russell Wilson's a great guy, but I think once, I think something got to his head, and now I think he just thinks that he's just the greatest thing since sliced bread and peanut butter. And I just think that, I think he needs to just step down a little bit because his team, he did not do good this season. He needs to be, pushed down a couple pedestals. He had a lot of successful career. He had a very successful career in Seattle, but if he doesn't play up to the mark in Denver, they may trade him. They may even, I don't know how much it would save them if they cut him, but it may be, I don't know. I don't think Russell Wilson should be able to just boss people around because then it just makes the team look weak. Because then they're just falling to their knees of a quarterback. They're just yes, we will do whatever you say, Russell Wilson. When Russell Wilson is just right now looking like an average quarterback. 12 touchdowns, really? Really?
Let Russ cook.
Let somebody else cook. Just let somebody else cook. Don't let
Russ
him cook.
burnt the food.
Yeah, Patrick. Oh, he burnt what he was cooking. You see that Nickelodeon episode?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this, and since the discussion is probably over now, I kind of wanted to go in this real quick thing. Have you seen the NFL memes where they talk about imagine if the NFL didn't have any news and that just when the next season came, it just showed you updated rosters and stuff like that, and people are people are Seahawks fans when they see Russell Wilson come out of the tunnel for Denver Broncos, and it's just a guy going,
or you're where's Tyreek? Wait, he's in Miami? Why's Tyreek in Miami? That would suck.
Juju Smith-Schuster in Kansas City? What? No. TikTok dancer.
Tom Brady was supposed to retire a Patriot. Where'd he go? Did he retire?
Oh. Yeah, New England fans see that Tom Brady's not out there. Oh, he must have retired. Then they turn on the Tampa Bay game afterwards, and they're I don't know why I just find them so
That'd be really funny, though. Just imagine watching the draft and, seeing the Patriots draft a quarterback in the first round, you're oh, Tom Brady must have retired. Oh, no, he didn't?
Yeah. Just you don't know anything about free agent signings. The only thing you know is the draft, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would just be insane. I mean, it would never work because, media coverage is everywhere. So, something is going to
we are
eventually. But, it's just
about it.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think it's just really, I don't know why, but I saw those memes again today, and I was just that's really funny. So,
well, I've got class in 30 minutes, so we're going to have to end this episode, unfortunately. But
that's okay.
It's been a good discussion about quarterbacks and cap space.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I'm glad that we finally got the time to record because I know for a while we've been struggling. So,
and you roasted Lamar Jackson, so I feel like you feel pretty happy. Happy.
I didn't mean to get ahead of myself. I just got very passionate. I feel like I would have gotten mad at any quarterback that would have done that. So, voice cracking turned it too.
Let's end it here. I'll put the description or link to the merch shop, if you will, in the description. So if you want to support the show that way, go ahead. Buy something. I don't really control the prices. Like I said, not making a whole lot of profit off of it, but thank you. We appreciate it. If you don't want to support the show that way, you can support us in other ways by liking, sharing, commenting, following. Remember to comment about whether or not you like Chus's mullet. Should he keep the mullet or not? That is important.
Also, kind of talk about your opinions on the show as well in the comments. I know we've had a couple of people so regularly commenting, and we really appreciate you guys specifically. So shout out to you.
Silver Wolf AZ. That dude is commenting on like every video. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We always appreciate the support. So I want to highlight you specifically.
Yes, but and I keep saying this, I promise it's going to get started. The Instagram is nobutts_show. The TikTok is No Butts Show. 2 S's.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do with the TikTok.
We're going to get stuff. Social media is building, though. We're building up. We're building a platform. We're building a foundation. Yes. If you want us to talk about something on the show, email us, bullmoosepodcast2@gmail.com. That's the number 2. My Twitter is Josh_Butts_2001. And like I said, just go ahead, follow those, share these videos, share these YouTube links, subscribe, comment, like, do all the things that they tell you to at the end of any other YouTube video. Help us out, and it'll help us help you get more news and have more fun. If you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, just forget this episode even happened. Just go on with your life. Have a great weekend, everybody.